Standing beneath the roof of the reconstructed Chodoro Synagogue at the Diaspora Museum in Tel Aviv, Israel, was a coalescent moment that has informed my journey into the rabbinate. I remember staring at the ceiling with awe and admiration for the ornate wooden panels and paintings gilding the interior of the roof. The painted wooden ceiling was vibrant, colorful, and it seemed to come to life above my head and reach out to tell me a story on that day. All wood fundamentally tells a story. The rings inside of a tree tell the story of its life. By the time a tree is cut down and repurposed, it has often lived many lifetimes. What remains is but an old ghost, a sort of shell of what was once a living plant. Its commanding presence in a room is both haunting and also beautiful. So too, the ceiling staring down upon me that day told a story. It told the story of a chapter of our history that had seemingly been erased. As a rabbinical student, I had not seen anything like it in our synagogues. And as an artist and a woodcarver, I had never seen anything like it before. To me, this meant that a noticeable void had existed, and I felt driven to fill the void and attempt to restore something that had been lost. On that day, I committed myself to creating an exact replica of one of the majestic holy arks from one of the vanished wooden synagogues of Europe, and to bring it back into ritual usage. The Opening the Ark project was the brainchild of this exact moment. Over the next 2 years of rabbinical seminary, I spent considerable time every evening refining my wood carving skills. The ark inside of the Schroyer Chapel kept my senses open and my inspiration alive. In my final year of rabbinical seminary, I was finally ready. I began soliciting grants from local and national organizations. I incorporated a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and I began managing a team of engineers, woodcarvers, architects, and volunteers. When COVID-19 hit, the project was propelled to greater heights, and it proceeded to grow faster than ever before. Quickly, the pool of skilled and apprentice volunteers grew exponentially. I quickly designated a volunteer coordinator, and as the project grew, we began to receive new grants. As the world seemingly fell into a state of pandemonium, the Opening the Ark project provided us all with a gift, something that the world could not take away from us: art. The tragic irony is that as one catastrophe, the Holocaust, seemingly wiped out this art form, it was being revived during another catastrophe, during COVID-19. The ark chosen for the reconstruction project was from Sidra, Poland. I chose the ark from Sidra, Poland for the same reason I connected with the roof of the Chodoro Synagogue. It grabbed my attention. It was colorful, it was majestic, and it was commanding. I was able to acquire a rudimentary blueprint of the ark from Polish archives, and from there the blueprints were updated for modern usage in the reconstruction effort of the Torah ark from Sidra, Poland. As we begin our virtual tour of the exhibition, imagine that you are actually entering the synagogue of Sidra, Poland. Gazing upon these images, take a moment to appreciate the feeling of entering its synagogue with a sense of reverence and kavod, or respect, to its holy site. The images will elicit a sensory experience of a journey into another vanished world, reborn in the year 2021. Our first image was taken prior to the Nazi invasion of Poland in 1942. The colorized image reveals a towering, intimidating, almost haunting structure. As we gaze upon it, the building seemingly looks down upon us. If its wood could speak to us, it would tell us a long story, the story of a community that celebrated within its walls weddings, brit milot, ritual circumcisions, bar mitzvahs, and chagim, or holidays. It would tell us the story of its community. Today we journey into this vanished world, into this vanished community. entering the vanished world of the wooden synagogue of Cedar, Poland. The first site would have been its almanor, or elevated platform. This large structure would have eclipsed the visibility of any other wooden structure inside. From the almanor, the Torah reader or the Baal Koreh would read the weekly Torah portion from its ancient scroll. Turning the corner around the almanor, the Aron HaKodesh, or the Holy Ark, would stand against its easternmost wall, facing Jerusalem. Here we have three images of the Aron HaKodesh. The images progress from an old grainy black and white image to a colorized photo, finishing with a photo of the reconstructed ark taken in 2021. The Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark reborn, is an exact replica of the ark that stood in Cedar, Poland from the end of the 18th century until 1942. Richly colored and ornate, the ark was vibrantly decorated with folk art. The ark, mystical, and its inspiration was tied to Hasidut or Hasidic philosophy. The three levels of the ark rise from the base level, housing the Torah, culminating to the Keter or the crown piece, and are tied to various Jewish motifs and symbols. Here we have an image of myself standing next to the ark to give an idea of scale. In total, the ark stands close to 20 feet tall. The pasuk or Hebrew verse embroidered over the Torah curtain on the bottom level of the ark reads, Ve'asita koperet zahav tahor. Translated into English, this means, and you shall make an ark cover of pure gold. This verse or pasuk comes from Exodus 25, verse 17, and it refers to the construction of the Ark of the Covenant. The second level of the Ark includes the Ten Commandments, and above this, at the top level, includes a crowned anthropomorphic figure that references Moses, giving the Birkat Kohanim the priestly benediction. This motif appears and reappears in many wooden synagogues of the era. Photographed here is the anthropomorphic image of what is presumed to be Moses giving the Birkat Kohanim the priestly benediction. Crowning the top level is the name of God, guarded by the lions of Judah, with the crown referencing the crown of the law or the Torah. The construction of the ark is a story in itself. The ark was built in about a year's time. All of the wood began as raw cuts of Siberian larchwood. The pieces were cut down and hand tools were used to carve all of the panels. Once carved and sanded, each panel was painted with era-appropriate rabbit skin glue and natural marble gesso. Afterwards, all of the pigments were made from scratch. The pigments were grounded up and made from historically accurate binders. I know it took about a year, but here you see in about 1 minute the making of a single panel. And now back to you, Abby, as we continue our tour.